Sister Wives. Did Cody's scene get cut to save face? Fans are angry with Sister Wives star Christine Brown-Woolley for what she just said about Cody Brown in a real-time post. They feel like they were tricked by a scenario from the show. Christine is talking about her new book, which will be out in stores in September. She posted an excerpt from that book, and it seems like she's not holding anything back, especially when it comes to her ex-husband Cody. Longtime viewers of Sister Wives will recall when Christine Brown-Woolley had Truly Brown in the first season of the show. Today, Truly is a teenager, but when the show initially started, Christine had just given birth to her daughter, and Cody Brown seemed to hurry to her side. Or did he? At that time, the TLC cameras had just started to follow the family. And according to what Christine says in the post below, the cameras were with Cody Brown as well as following her. Christine Brown's life is great now that she is married to David Woolley, but she hasn't forgotten how much Cody hurt her. One of the numerous times she felt neglected was when she gave birth to Truly Brown. After Christine posted the following message, Sister Wives fans flooded the internet with comments. A lot of people say they can't wait to obtain the book and that they want to get it ahead of time after Christine told us things we didn't know previously. Cody, Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, Christine Brown, and Robyn Brown all had a goal when the Sister Wives series initially came out. Fans thought they were trying to tell the truth about their polygamous marriage, but Cody's actions didn't always make it to the screen. It could have broken that goal if it had. Many of the seasons had all four of Cody's wives singing his accolades as a husband and father. But in the past few, layers were pulled back to show a different Cody Brown. In the first season of Sister Wives, we witnessed a family that got along. Of course, they had troubles, just like every relationship who is only with one person. So, people were more supportive of Cody 10 years ago because they were shocked to find such a lovely and caring family man. But now Christine Brown is tearing down the cover-up. She talks about what truly happened when she went into labor with Truly. Fans thought that Cody hurried to Christine's side when she went into labor. But Christine says that's not the case today. The cameras followed Cody wherever he went that day, but that scene didn't make it to the screen. He didn't run to Christine. He went to Robyn's house instead. Christine's voice sounds sarcastic as she talks about the scene in her most recent post above. Many Sister Wives fans feel cheated because they believe the piece that Cody and his wives showed when the show first started. A lot of fans thought they saw the family slowly fall apart. However, Christine's most recent report suggests that Cody was not doing well in that area from the start. A lot of fans are angry today because they were led to believe that everything was fine in that marriage during the first few seasons of the TLC show. But the Brown family had always found Thanksgiving to be a difficult holiday. In the beginning of their plural marriage, it was a time of togetherness. It was a rare chance for all the wives, kids, and Cody to be together in one place. But those days are long gone. For the first time in more than 20 years, the Sister Wives would celebrate Thanksgiving without each other this year. Mary stood by her window in Utah and watched the snow lightly cover the trees outside. Her B&B, Lizzie's Heritage Inn, was decked with fall garlands and pumpkins. She had decided to keep things intimate this year, just her mother's favorite recipes, and a few close friends from the neighborhood. She set the final apple pie on the windowsill to cool, muttering, "Happy Thanksgiving, Mom." Though she missed being part of a big family feast, she felt a serene peace she hadn't known in years. In her journal, she wrote, "Maybe family isn't always who sits at your table. Sometimes, it's who supports your soul." Janelle took a more informal way. She hosted her Thanksgiving dinner in her new home in Flagstaff, where several of her adult kids joined her. Gabriel helped fry the turkey in the garden, while Savannah decorated the dining table with homemade decorations. The energy was light, and laughs flowed readily. Janelle didn't mention Cody, not even once.
She didn't need to.
Later, as she sat sipping cider with Christine over a video connection, she said, "This might be the most peaceful Thanksgiving I've ever had. No drama, no forced smiles, simply love." Christine grinned. That's what giving thanks should feel like. Meanwhile, in Lehigh, Christine's house was brimming with delight. She and David, her new fiancé, threw a delightful Thanksgiving dinner with kids, grandkids, and new traditions. They made dinner together, played board games, and even had a Thanksgiving circle before they ate. She really shone as she gave everyone cards she had created, each one with something she was glad for. She read, "I'm glad Mom is happy," and Christine started to cry. David raised his glass and said, "To new beginnings, healing, and chosen family," as the meal began. Everyone clinked their glasses. Christine felt like she was glowing. She never thought Thanksgiving could feel this full. Robyn and Cody sat at their dining table with their kids in Flagstaff. The mood was quiet. The table was laid well, and there was a lot of food. Yet something was lacking. A lot of things, in fact. Cody tried to make everyone feel better with a toast, but the youngsters hardly looked up from their plates. Robyn broke the stillness because she could feel the change in the household. "I miss the big get-togethers. I miss my family," Cody groaned. They all chose to go their own ways. "This isn't what I wanted." But he knew deep down that the choices hadn't been all one-sided. As the night went on, Robyn gazed at an old picture of the family. So many happy faces, so much hope. "Maybe someday, things will be whole again," she said quietly. Even though they were miles apart, each sister-wife thought about what the holiday really meant. Their lives had taken different paths, but each lady was learning how to make her own peace, her own family, and her own Thanksgiving. They were no longer tied to one person or one image of unity. Instead, they individually welcomed the season with new vigor and quiet hope. There is always something to be thankful for, even in a family that has fallen apart. But the Brown family got together in Flagstaff for a surprise announcement while the sun shone brightly. Nor a wedding, nor a breakup, but something else gave people hope for the first time in years. Janelle had summoned everyone together and said in a mysterious way, "It's something that will bring us all back together." Christine was the first person to go to the spacious backyard where the celebration was going to take place. Her daughter truly helped her carry a handmade pie. She was wondering about why her mom appeared more upset than normal. Christine whispered softly, "I haven't seen the family like this in a long time. Let's hope it's something good." Mary came in soon after, looking gorgeous in her deep blue maxi dress. Even though she hadn't seen Cody in a while, her heart still had room for family moments like this. Robyn and Cody even showed up, though they were a little unsure. There were long tables set out for a fall-themed supper with roasted turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, and Janelle's famed sweet potato casserole. But before supper was served, Janelle got up on a little wooden stage and held a microphone in her hand. She took a big breath and looked around at her family. Some of them seemed tense, while others smiled. She started by saying, "I know things haven't been easy for us. We've grown apart, fought, and had to deal with the fact that things are changing. But I've always thought that family is more than simply a structure, it's a decision. I'm here to tell you something that will change all of our lives today. I'm going to be a grandmother again." There were gasps and applause. But that wasn't all. Janelle went on, "Savannah is pregnant and wants all of you to be a part of the baby's life. She wants this youngster to feel the love of a family that is together." Christine ran over to Janelle to hug her. "This is the best news I've heard in years." She smiled. Mary, who was crying, said quietly, "Maybe this is our chance to start over." Cody couldn't think of anything to say for once. Robyn softly pushed him and said, "You should say something. Fill in the blank." Cody stepped forward in an unsettling way. He said slowly, "I know I've done things wrong. But maybe this baby is a second opportunity. For everyone." The second surprise came next. Christine stood up and clinked her glass. "Well, since we're exchanging news, I have some too. I just signed the papers to open a brand new health resort for ladies who are starting over. And you know what? I want to call it Strength of Sisterhood." More cheers. Even Robyn, who the other spouses generally thought of as an outsider, walked over to Christine and gave her a real hug. The night transformed into a real celebration, not of what they had lost, but of what they could still become. A new generation, a new start, and maybe a different kind of family. The Browns didn't care who lived in which house or who was married to whom. It was about the link that had always been there, but was hidden. That night, Laughing echoed in the dark, healing wounds one grin at a time. But Kody Brown thought for a long time that polygamy was the best way to make a big, loving, and spiritually strong family. But at some point, everything started to go wrong. The fun at the dinner table stopped, people stopped talking to each other, and the anxiety spread like wildfire among the spouses and kids. Christine was gone. Mary had moved on, and Janelle was thinking about her own future without him. Robyn, who used to be his biggest fan, also seemed emotionally tired. Kody realized that things needed to change. He sat on his porch by himself one tranquil evening in Flagstaff and watched the sun set behind the mountains in the desert. He asked himself the hardest question for the first time in years. What if I've been leading this family the wrong way? Kody held a family meeting the next morning. All of his older children and wives, even Christine, surprisingly agreed to go. They were more curious than trusting. He stood in front of them, looking older, thinner, and more modest than ever. Kody's voice shook as he said, "I'm not here as your husband or your father. I'm here as a man who knows he's failed in many ways. I wish to find tranquility. I want to get better. And I want us to strive to move ahead together, not go back. Not married, and maybe not even living together, but as a family." There was a lengthy, heavy pause. Then Christine's youngest daughter, Truly, came up. "You mean like therapy for the whole family?" she inquired. The room laughed softly. "Yes," Kody said. "Just like that." The Browns began going to family counseling over the next few months. TLC cameras were asked to come back and film the trip. There were times when people were angry, cried, and finally said they were sorry. Christine made it clear, "I don't want to be your wife, Kody. But I want our kids to be able to get along with each other. I always felt like I had to fight for space in this family," Janelle said. "I'm done with battling." Mary told her darkest pain. "I stayed loyal even when I felt like no one saw me. That almost killed me." Robyn, who was sad and subdued, muttered through her tears, "I never wanted to be the favorite. That label hurt me and hurt all of us." The big change happened when the family went on a week-long vacation to Sedona, where they turned off their phones, computers, and even the cameras. They hiked together, cooked together, and talked for a long time under the stars. Kody and his elder sons even fixed up a cabin they had built together but never finished. Kody remarked in a confession, "This was the kind of family I always wanted. Not perfect, not always together, but I'm still trying." The Browns were still living apart at the end of the season. Christine was thrilled since she had gotten married again. Janelle had gotten closer to her kids. Mary started a retreat center in Utah. Robyn was setting new limits for herself and spending time with her kids. And what about Kody? He wasn't attempting to get anyone back. He wanted to be a better person for himself, his kids, and whatever family meant to him now. He remarked, "This journey is no longer about roles or control. It's about healing and honoring the people who stood by me, even when I didn't deserve it." Can the Brown family keep this fragile harmony next season? Or will old wounds reignite when fresh circumstances in their lives put their new piece to the test? Sister Wives on TLC is coming up next. But in Flagstaff, it was the first snow of December. The Brown family's house was lit up with fairy lights, pine-scented candles, and a big Christmas tree that stood like a proud emblem of their shared past and uncertain future. Christine stood by the window, holding a little, faded ornament shaped like a gingerbread heart and watching the snow fall. It has the words, "Merry Christmas 1997, written in faded gold. That was the year it all started, their first Christmas as a family of more than one. Kody had recently married Christine in a spiritual way. Janelle, Mary, and Christine were worried about their first Thanksgiving together, especially because there were young kids running around and varied traditions that didn't always work well together. Mary adored Christmas Eves that were calm, lighted by candles, and had readings from the Bible. Janelle thought that huge meals and board games were important. Christine wanted youngsters to open one present on Christmas Eve and gingerbread houses. But somehow, the disorder turned into order. They got it to work. Brown family Christmas Eve was a new tradition that year. Each lady prepared one thing for the night. The kids were so happy as they danced to Christmas music, sipped hot cocoa, and opened matching pajamas that Christine had stitched by hand. Cody smiled and stated it was the most loving holiday he had ever had. They had more kids, more bills, and more stress by 2006. That year, the Christmas tree was smaller, and the smiles were a little fake. Cody was busy with work, and Janelle was tired from keeping track of the money. Mary had pulled away because she felt alone. Christine tried to keep the family together with Christmas carols and cinnamon pastries, but even the lights couldn't disguise the fractures. Even yet, on Christmas morning, all the kids ran into the living room in their pajamas, screaming with joy at the gifts, most of which were homemade or bought used. Christine saw a look between Janelle and Mary that said they were exhausted, but knew what they were doing. This was tough, but it was still family. Robyn had just become a part of the family, and this was her first Christmas with the Browns. There was a lot of stress. Some of the older kids were confused about how to feel, and the wives were having a hard time accepting the changes. Robyn, on the other hand, wanted to help and brought something new, a handmade ornament for each family member with their name painted in gold. It was her way of expressing, "I'm here. Now I'm a part of this." They started another tradition that Christmas called the Tree of Names. They hung one ornament for each family member, both living and dead. It was a period of transformation and a time of coming together. The family was drifting apart by 2017. Christine and Cody were having a hard time. Mary was far away. Janelle was thinking about being free. Robyn held on to what was left. The holidays felt like they could fall apart at any moment. But then Christine's youngest child, Truly, rose up after supper and asked, "Can we all go caroling like we used to?" And suddenly, out of nowhere, Mary smiled. "Yes. Let's do it." The whole family, broken, fatigued, yet nonetheless connected by years of memories, went through the cold streets of Flagstaff, singing carols. They were all wearing coats and scarves. People next door grinned. People that didn't know each other joined. And for one night, the past came back to life and love came back to life. In 2025, everything was different. Christine had moved on. She was happy again and engaged to David. Janelle was living on her own and working on herself. Mary had begun a new chapter in her life away from Cody. Robyn stayed behind, holding on to the last bits of the dream. But this year, something unexpected happened. Christine asked everyone to come to her house for a legacy Christmas. She said, "No matter where we are or how things have changed, we have decades of Christmases that made us who we are. Let's pay them tribute this year." Mary appeared, and everyone was shocked. Janelle did too. Cody, who was nervous, yet came with Robyn. The youngsters, who are now adults and have kids of their own, brought pictures, decorations, and anecdotes. They lighted lights for the Christmases they had lived through and the love they had once enjoyed. And they started one last tradition, penning letters to their future selves that they would read every Christmas. Christine grinned as she put her letter in a box. She said, "Christmas isn't just about what we have. It's about who we choose to become and what we remember." But the sun caressed the red cliffs of Moab, Utah, softly, giving the desert a golden glow. As family and close friends gathered in a tranquil meadow under the open sky, a mild breeze brought the smell of desert sage. There were clean rows of white chairs on the green grass, and at the altar, there was a towering wooden arch with cream roses, eucalyptus leaves, and twinkling fairy lights on it. It wasn't just another wedding today. It stood for freedom, healing, and finding happiness again. Christine Brown walked down the aisle today, not as one of many wives, but as the bride of her own future. Christine had to rebuild her life brick by brick after years of emotional stress, grief, and finally leaving her poly marriage to Cody Brown. David Woolley was a humble, down-to-earth man who loved her not for her part on a TV show or her past, but for the strong, humorous, and tough woman she was. Christine was inside a simple hut just outside the ceremony area. Her children were all about her. Aspen was putting the lace on her mother's veil. Michael T. was brushing away a happy tear, and Truly was clutching Christine's hand securely, proud and smiling. "Are you ready, Mom?" Michael T. inquired. Christine gazed at herself in the mirror. She wore a beautiful ivory dress with lace sleeves and a small train. After so many years of being emotionally drained, her eyes sparkled again. She smiled and said, "More than ready." Guests stood up when the first notes of the music started. Everyone looked in the direction of the path where Christine would come out. Janelle, who was sitting proudly in the front row, nodded in approval. Even Mary, who had a tangled history with them, had come to see this moment of change. Christine moved forward and put her arm around her father's in a gentle way. As the flower girl, Truly walked just ahead and dropped petals along the way. The guests gasped softly, not just because the bride was so beautiful, but also because she had so much enthusiasm. She was a lady who was ready to take on the next chapter of her life. David's eyes filled with tears as he waited at the altar. He looked at Christine like she was the only person in the world. This wasn't just a wedding for him. It was the moment he met someone who knew pain but yet chose love. David whispered to Christine, "You're everything I dreamed of," when she finally got to the altar. She smiled and spoke in a calm voice. "And now I really think I deserve it." The ceremony was modest and meaningful. Everyone laughed and cried happy tears as they exchanged vows under the Utah sky. Christine promised to choose love every day, not out of duty, but out of happiness. David promised to keep her quiet, value her freedom, and never dim her brilliance. Guests clapped loudly after the kiss. As the music got louder, Christine and David walked down the aisle as husband and wife. She turned around once to look at the ladies who had been with her, the kids she had reared, and the life she had left behind. She strolled into the life she always wanted. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sabrina, and I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to subscribe